You just want to try into the United. I did not say
anything. Why should you have
any question about ask me a question about the United States and I want to answer. I did not say anything about the United States. I said things about individuals. I talk about Reagan and I talk about Rush Limbaugh. I talk about Nixon. So if you want to go into the script, the people, the Republican and Chinese, you can have.
You obviously have no respect for America and Americans, where instead of debating the policies and beliefs, you're calling people names. When someone starts calling people names, then what respect should we have for you?
We've lost the topic. We've gotten off of topic. So, the topic is socialism and capitalism. It's not love or hate of the United States.
Okay, so let me get...
I'd like to bring it back on topic. I'm not from the United States of America, and I am here in this country. And you ask me, why am I here in this
why
country?
are you here? Why would you want to stay here? If there's so much racism, hate, poverty, and all this stuff, what's the point?
Let me tell you,
why come
I am here in America for the same reason you guys are in my country, to make that money. I am in America to make that money.
To take advantage of capitalism, right?
I'm taking advantage of you. I'm taking advantage of you. You good tax-paying citizens. I love you.
Exactly.
I love you both.
You should be walking around kissing the ass of all Americans.
I would never get myself dirty, but I will take advantage of you.
I know you will, because
I started out by saying capitalism was greed. Greed is taking advantage. I'm taking advantage of you.
That's not greed.
You think you are.
Because you know what? You're in here right now and I'm promoting myself. Ain't that greed? That's capitalism at its best.
That's not greed.
All right, so let's just let you know. I'm going to let y'all two say something.
I feel like, okay, there's a couple of things. One, there's just way too much testosterone to it. Something's no, really, seriously. I mean, this all goes back to my original thing. On camera. This all goes back to my original thing that capitalism is a tool. Let's just, everything that you guys are talking about is like you're using it as a weapon. He's saying he came here to make money. It's a tool, you know?
But that's how you see it. That doesn't mean we all have to see it like you see it.
All right, hold on, but let me just, that's where I'm coming from. So as a tool, this is where I'm coming from. You keep referring back to the civil rights movement, right? I wanted to bring it here real quick, and the only reason why is because if you think about why it came because it affected people's money. You see, because there was a black community that was making money in that old segregated sense. You know, black people supported black businesses and all of that thing. And then all of a sudden with the bus boycott and people started demanding rights and people's votes started to be affected, then they wanted to have the civil rights movement. But any movement in this country has always been because poor people got up, united, found unity and diversity, and fought against it. So that civic engagement component, I think, is really important to this conversation. Civic engagement, civic awareness, and civic education.
Exactly. But all movements in this country hasn't been for poor people.
No, but it is because of poor people that changes have began. But it's because of the movements of poor people that changes have began. But sometimes it focused on just one aspect of it. Like the civil rights movement was great, but it didn't address all of
the Tea Party movement is the exact opposite of poor people, and it has definitely shown you on November the 2nd that it's a movement that has made a difference.
But look who makes up the Tea Party movement.
It doesn't matter, it's a movement. It's not a movement of poor people.
It's not a movement. The Tea Party is not a movement. It is a force to help others.
You guys say it's poor working class white people. It's still poor people who are struggling. I'm telling you, when people unite in their differences, because it comes down to money. Once poor people's movements is the most powerful thing in the world. Exactly. If people become civically engaged and aware,
I don't agree at all. Why? Because rich people's money will do as much as poor people's movements.
But once,
and you can best believe that.
Once rich people's money is threatened by a united force, then they have to think about what they're doing.
Because I'm telling you right now, your governor in this state that just got elected ain't have nothing to do with a poor people's movement.
But it
had to do with a rich person's money.
But it had everything to do with the lack of civic
But he's the governor now. It doesn't matter. You can talk all of that, but he is the governor. For the next 4 years, he gets to tell you everything you do and say because his rich people movement made him the top of the ladder.
Okay, I understand that you're an ideologue, but let me just apply it for a little bit. That civic engagement component, we can sit here and talk all about it all we want, but unless people are civically engaged, unless you're out there saying, okay, you need to register to vote and this is how you do it, this is how you become informed. That is the point. People don't know the system. If they know, especially people in my demographic, if they learn the system, they'll be, and I'll hush.
I think you and I have a different definition of movements because there are a lot of movements going on in America right now.
That's right.
All right, we're gonna let this guy right here ask. I mean,
just one thing. Where would this country be without post office, without Social Security? These are all socialist ideas. And
that's
the
what
capitalists have been battling against those ideas and to this day still do. They want to privatize it. I can't believe we're talking about capitalism and socialism. We haven't even mentioned the word privatization. And that's the struggle we're about to face from the rich in this country. They want to privatize those things like Social Security and even the post office. I mean, imagine paying UPS prices for something that we've taken for granted all these years, like sending a piece of mail. But that's to me the difference between socialism and capitalism. And the United States is a mixed economy that has always had aspects of socialism when it's necessary, when the private sector won't provide it. And that's why we have Social Security. That's why we have post office. That's why we have local governments picking up the trash every day. We can't depend on the private sector to do that. And that's where we are today.
We can't depend on the private.
Is the future going forward going to be a socialist future or going to be a totally private future?
Listen, the government employees have only one job as their job description. How can they take more money from the citizens that they have to deal with?
Isn't that the core of capitalism?
No, that's not the same thing.
Why don't you answer my
That is the core of capitalism. The core of capitalism is profit, which means how can I take money from someone?
That's not.
That is the core of capitalism.
It's not taking. A company sells something. It doesn't take money from you. It gives you something you want.
The government gives you that road you drive on. The government gives you those stop signs that stops you from killing yourself. The government gives you your mail so that you pay in your taxes, and it gives you back the things that you need to survive every day. It is a give and it is a take, just like capitalism is a give and a take.
Government does not give you the road. We, the people, pay for that road.
With your taxes, which means they give it back to you.
The government does not give us the road. We paid for the road.
That's right.
Not the government giving us.
You are the government.
No, we're not. The people that run the government, they are not. They think they're the government.
Draw me a picture of the government.
all right, we're gonna. Okay, we got this guy. I'm gonna let him go first since he hadn't said nothing
I
yet.
want to know how some of the best socialists on the planet, Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi, who I'm sure we're all familiar with, and they're
No, he's making a statement.
they're professed socialists who make about in their jobs in the government. When the average American makes $49,000 a year, the average congressman, I think it is, if not senator, makes $177,000 a year in their position. There was a great show on Friday. Glenn Beck gave the statistics of
The devil.
Let me finish, sir. I know you got. But I want to know how they both went in, and in this public service job, professed socialists, are how they were able to go from, Nancy went from $6 million to $21 million in net worth in the last few years. I don't know if anybody knows how they did it, but they're professed socialists that want to tax people and take from the haves and give to the have-nots. Right. But my question is, if they're socialists, how in the world did they go from, and I don't know what Harry Reid went, he went from like 7 million to like 19 million.
I got a great answer for that. You know what it is?
Is it capitalism? Is it really capitalism?
It's capitalism. Just because they are socialists and just because they work for the government does not mean that they cannot take advantage of this capitalist system that you take advantage of. They are a citizen just like you are, so they can take that $100 and something thousand that they make, they can invest it, reinvest it, buy and sell, and make a profit.
Why do they make more than the average American citizen?
Because Congress set it up for them to have a base salary. If you have a problem with that, you can change that.
Right,
that is your job.
And I think we should. But
then propose it. You have a congressman that represents this district. Yeah. Go to that congressman and tell him you don't like the fact he makes so much money.
I think that the people should make more than what the people who are serving